So we're going to call the Louisiana Tourism Commission meeting on May 19th. To order. Welcome. Ciao. Yeah, it's you. I don't have to. It's really anything. No. So what you've got in front of you is just basically, there was a whole rigmarole for, and we found out that we are actually organized under different, or Missouri revised statute. So the first is, they've got this 67-13-60, and there's this little asterisk. It looks like this was the catch-all section because you've got like 37 options, but here we are on the last page. That's how we know we belong to this. So Cindy was in on some of them trying to figure out which one of these did they have us under. So basically, our revised statute is just a slow bitty one. And so, according to it, that once we're organized, which we are, then we have to do 5 members, and the members are all have to be, one of the 5 members will be a representative of the hotel motel industry. That would be Jennifer. And then of those members, then we need 2 active in tourism. I think restaurants, stores, any of that, of course, are, so we've got that covered. And then the remaining members will be members of the local and general business interests. And then you have to have 1 city liaison from the council, because I've done this before, Mark chose me to do it. So since we're coming in with just 2 members instead of 5, and I feel like we're kind of starting over. So there have to be, when they come in new, they want you to do terms. So let me pass this out. This was, and we do have a couple of changes you need to do on this. This is what they had previous administration, as well as policies and procedures. There's one, I did lots of these. There's one for adventures. So we need to do 3-year terms. So we need somebody to say 1 year, somebody that's 2, another 2 year, and 2 3 years. I took the liaison position. So anybody want to volunteer for position?
Can I ask you questions for me?
Oh, of course. Okay.
Just because I'm coming in with order, are we supposed to be following Robert's rule of order? Is this a
Pretty easy going?
technically yes, but
Okay.
so
Okay.
just because you had mentioned, just because you had mentioned that you wanted to put something on the table today for a vote, I think we have to do roll call and establish a quorum before we proceed into the meeting. And then my other question is on, and I'm asking because I don't know the answer. On the there was a list of groups that we have to have a representative of the hotel and motel industry. Are you classified as hotel and motel, or are you operating as Airbnb?
No, we're a hotel.
You are a hotel. Okay, so you're collecting the, like, you're under the hotel taxes that help fund part of this. Okay, great, thank you.
Also, that's the state statute, but within our ordinance, we also have campgrounds are also included. So it's a little wider than we would like normally consider. Western cabins are included, and people that have B&Bs, Airbnbs, they're also included
Under your city ordinance.
under our city ordinance. Good questions.
Thank you.
And I am a CPA, so I am not good at my Robert's Rule of Order, so I need help.
Well, you've already said that you've established a quorum because you've got all the members that are appointed by the mayor, so. I think we're good there.
All right,
You guys will have to appoint someone to do the meeting minutes. And then other than you, one of them has to be the chair.
right, I can't make the chair. So that's also on the list, that's on the back side.
That's the only two procedural things that we have to do.
So I would like, suggest the chair be taking 3-year positions, so we don't have, and they can change though annually too. If I'm easygoing about it. I just like us to work as a team and everybody contribute, everybody's opinion is welcome. And wanted because I truly believe one person cannot think of everything. And on occasion, someone mentions something else, so and then we start feeding off of it and come up with a great idea, and that's the way
How often are we, it doesn't say how often we're required to meet. How often do you have?
Generally, in the past, it's been once a month. We had something really big because our job is to promote the city. And I have a few things to throw out on that, just general ideas I have, but we need to discuss them. On how we want to go forward and how we want to, I don't want to explain how the money comes in and about what we have and all of that. So I don't know if you guys want to wait till we discuss this and then choose what terms you want.
I don't care if it's
Well, when it comes to
not going anywhere.
terms. It says members of the tourism commission will be appointed for 3-year terms. I thought it was only the first appointed when we first came under the city that did the 1, 2, and 3 years.
Well,
Because then it also says that under the policy as well, members shall serve 3-year terms commencing on May 1st.
and that's one of the things, because kind of starting over, I'm fine to take a 3-year term. I don't have any problem with
But
it.
then everybody would be going off at the same
Exactly.
time.
So that's why I.
So probably, in my mind, the best thing to do is you were already on it, right?
Yes.
And what term were you?
I was one of the 3-year terms.
So in my mind, she should still be on her 3-year term.
I've served my 3-year term though. My 3-year term is us. I would personally rather not serve another 3-year term. Because I've served a 3-year term and then 2 years before that.
But then the rest of us then would replace. One of us could replace your 3 and you could go on for 1 if that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah, I would prefer a shorter term.
That's
Yeah.
Just so that we can get new people rotating in consistently.
But I think you ought to then, so I think you're right. So you're saying that there were 1, 2, 1, 1, 2 2s and 3 3s.
Yeah, when it was
So to make
me,
it-
Susan, Kaylee, everybody, we all came in at different points.
Yeah,
Or we all came in at the same point, but we had different tenure.
right.
And then everybody was dismissed. And so I was the only one that ended up serving out my original term when we went from LBCB into tourism.
So to make it work, you're gonna have to continue it that way.
I think
You
it's,
can't ask everybody to do it. Term, because then everybody going off the same.
to me, how long do you want to serve? I can remember.
Since you have tenure, you get choice.
I would like the 1-year position.
Okay, so that would be down for the 1 year. And the rest of you, if you know now, fine, if you wanna wait till.
I just know I don't wanna be chair and I don't wanna be secretary.
Pardon me?
I just know I don't wanna be chair and I don't wanna be secretary.
Okay. Well, do you know how many years you wanna serve?
For 3.
That part, I don't care.
Okay,
For 3.
we'll give you 3 then.
After it.
I guess I'm kind of just not knowledgeable about what a chairperson would even do. I mean, I see the little,
Yeah, it's very, basically, you would be running the meeting.
For all intents and purposes, they'll do what Susan's doing today. I'll add in that regardless of what term the chair gets, they will have to be elected every time there's a new member appointed, just because there's technically a different voting body.
And the vice chair is the person that does what I'm doing when the chair's not here. And the secretary for meeting minutes, I have to say, we had 3 committee meetings and our city clerk was out the other night, so I tried using, I recorded it. And we had like an hour and a half of back and forth and all kinds of people talking. And I sent it, I have Gemini AI and I sent up there and said, I need meeting minutes, so we'll just see what it works. I was really impressed with it. I'm calling him Jimmy now. But anyway, so it was easy because they put action items in there. They basically said, we'll check on. And so it was really nice because there was a lot of talk and citizens talking. I was like, I thought that was pretty good. So as far as, you know, whoever's secretary, if I'm happy that if they wanted to send me the digital, you know, the voice, I'll get to everybody. And then, you know, I ask you to look at them. If there's something additional that needs to be added, of course, we'll have to, because Jimmy isn't perfect. You know,
So is she not eligible to be secretary?
no.
No,
No, she's not.
it's technically an officer of the commission, and since she's on the city council, she can't.
I could be secretary.
Okay. So do you know how many years you want to do it, Miss Secretary?
Oh.
Again, we can wait till after we're done to see what it kind of entails.
Yeah, please don't be.
That'll be a little better.
No,
Cindy,
have
it's
to.
kind of an idea. Cindy, do you know where you want to be?
I don't care, with 3's fine, I'm not going anywhere.
Okay.
Well, if that's the requirement, I'm not going anywhere either,
And
so.
then, I can kick off. I can't.
Yeah.
Yes.
So do you want, so I've got Brooke at 3, Cindy at 3, do you want to 2?
Sure.
And you can always, you know, rotate yourself
I'm
up.
so sorry, I forgot your name.
Or
Jenny.
Jen.
So,
Do you prefer
Liza,
Jenny?
guess what that leaves you with?
that's
A
whatever.
2. Oh, great, super. So,
Yeah.
there's one thing I wanted your input on. This was how it was before. I did change the committee composition because it didn't go along to the statutes. So they're all pretty general, but there was one thing on the back. I kept reading it again, you know, I'm trying to type this and I'm not a typist. I was looking for decision making. Point 2. It said in the event of a tie, the chairperson shall be the casting vote. The chairperson should be voting anyway.
No, the chair won't vote.
The chair wouldn't vote.
The chair doesn't, similar to the council, Mark doesn't get a vote unless they tie. I'll also add the chair, you'll be whoever gets picked, for the chair. You know, you'll primarily like be my point of contact for the committee and everything, so.
Oh, no.
You should have told people that.
Yeah, sorry. And I will say it'll be a little bit more frequently than once per month. Not terrible, we can once we get everything set up and rolling and we have plans in place and whatnot, it'll be a lot easier.
So. That's just general, that's, so there, it is, the chair makes the, I thought about it. So the things that we have going on right now are, we have, the billboard for 54 splits and comes into town. That finally came available, when Jenkins left. So, we grabbed it. So we have, just so you know what it is, Lamar sent me a mini tract. And I told them that we're very interested in it, so we will pay to, or I'm gonna have to share with you, 'cause
We have it now, we have it now,
did they get you the newest? We have it now.
we have it now.
And I told them we want to continue with that. So the new rate is, the rate last year was $4,095, this year we're looking at $4,355.
For a year?
Yeah. I think a lot, little,
Well, I will pay near that for mine.
oh, we don't.
Is it a Lamar?
That's fine.
Same size?
Oh, it is a smaller one.
Yeah, this is a 12 by 30.
That's a pretty big sign out there.
We looked into prices and what I found was between like 5 and 7.
You go down towards the
Yeah.
city, it gets much higher. So here, this,
Yeah, Barney.
so we'd like to look here, I'm gonna even look into more, you know, the next year. But I really hate to lose.
That location is probably what's prime.
That location is really good.
So how it works, we learned they will, I call them skins, we also call them vinyls. So we can have more than one vinyl, and that was our plan at one point, is to have one for Color Fest, so like a month, 2 months before Color Fest up would go this vinyl. Then they can take it down, they will store it for us until we're ready for it again. The one we have up currently, you can see it's faded, it may not be what you want to do again, I don't know. A new vinyl is $700, right in that ballpark. So my thought is, I'd like to secure the billboard. And then the first point of business, I believe, would be to get a new one. Now, we tried, we had one person on our team that really was working at it, designing one. And it came up with good ideas, but then they came back and said, well, you know, this kind of we found doesn't work very well, or this. So they will do, you know, come up with an idea, and they'll come up with the design for you. And if you don't like it, you say, could you tweak this, could you tweak that? The one we had originally didn't show much of the river, it took the top of your buildings. So they just went in and said, could you take some of the trees out and put water in so we can see more, you know, more of the river? So there's things like that. They're really great to work with as far as that. So this is the one thing I'd like to, you know, I don't get a vote, but I'd like to see us do and then work on a new billboard. I mean, you could have the same one if you want, or you can you know, design something totally new. I know the one thing they reminded us, and be sure I'm right on this beat, was that remember people are passing that pretty fast, so you can't, a lot of verbiage as a
The general rule of thumb is under 10 words per billboard at 60,000.
So-
That's interesting.
Yeah, your ideal zone is 7 to 8 words. Obviously, things like June 8th, you're gonna see that a lot quicker, but like no sentence is not like that. You need to be hitting headlines, so it's why you see the
here's
lay, Eve, live, whatever, like, because that's all you're gonna be able to read.
so something else that we've talked about amongst, you know, city council members and things is, and some of you that have lived here a long time, I'm sure said, our town has had how many different picturesque river town, we've all the different names. It's like we kind of need to decide who we're gonna be and then stick with it. So I don't know if you want to jump right into a new, you know, new sign immediately, or you want to see, I don't know what kind of time frame we're looking at.
I think the most important thing is if you're gonna do this lease, is go ahead and get it extended and then we can worry about
Yeah, you might want to just go over
design,
how much money
branding.
you guys got,
Okay.
so that.
I was gonna say, do we have $4,000 to do it with, first of all?
Yes, we have 30,000 something, I believe.
And over 30,000.
So every quarter, the money comes in from the different, the hotel motel tax. Get it once a quarter, it's usually at least 3,000, so I feel pretty confident, 12,000. So we have 30 and then we have that figure, 3,000 a quarter. It's been higher than that, but just for kind of planning, I think it's good to look at that, you know, because we don't want to go down to nothing, obviously. Also, I know we've, Janine's done a lot of great work on the buildings. Jody Reese, they've been working on theirs. It looked like they started at, Jordan. I saw people pulling out windows on the second story of hers. It's like they're gonna get replaced, which is great, and hopefully then a paint job's coming with it. You know, all of those things. So I'm just throwing these out. You know, we have this amount of money, but we do need to do some advertising, and if we have events, our job is to advertise the events. But I don't know if you want to go like crazy with a big campaign until our town's starting to look better and better, until we look really nice or a little better like next spring and start. I mean, obviously we're gonna do some now, but there's a lot of things that can be done, but that again is up to you ladies.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can think of is I would like to start working on a new billboard vinyl now for July, August, September. Because I would like to see us purchase 4 vinyls, 1 per quarter, that can go up year after year after year.
That's
So
great.
that way we have one that says Color Fest third weekend in October. That can go up every year and it's only up.
What do they, what do they say the lifespan is on one? Because mine only lasts maybe 18 months.
That's why I'm not sure, but if we're only putting them up for 3 months at a time,
So it
then
can
we
be
can
used
have.
maybe 3 times.
Right, yeah, and that's for $700, that's
Yeah.
designed, that's stored, that's. 1 5-minute phone call going, hey, can you put this one back up? And they go, yeah, we'll have it up by the end of the week.
And do they charge some sort of install, uninstall fee or
Not that I'm
something?
aware
That's
of.
just billed then?
Yeah,
Just for, I finished that bill that went up before I went off. So that was,
yeah, that one's been up.
it's been there 3 years.
Yeah, 2 or 3, it's been up for a while.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Deborah? Just correct. Okay,
I was getting ready to say something and then I realized that I remembered something different, so.
okay. Yeah, I. Think if we can spend that, what, $2,800? 3 years worth of billboards that are being changed out regularly. That just have, the Color Fest winter, it has the home tour, the church tour, what have you, small town spring. Look at our river summer, whatever it is. That way they can just be changed out and then that money's not being spent year over year.
That's great. I think it's a
We
great.
do have, I think, 3 heavy things that as a town collectively have, tried to embrace. Of course, in the summer, we have the 4th of July.
Right.
And then in the fall, of course, we have Color Fest, and in the winter, we have, the Christmas activities with the home tour and all of that. I don't know what we have in spring or, that kind of things have been tried, but,
But yeah, and
that's kind of where our opportunity is in spring. Like
Uh,
something summer, something in fall, something.
Losing barbecue.
Or the generic,
yeah, business of the spring,
and-
yeah.
My,
Spring's an opportunity for us, so.
It is an opportunity for somebody to do something, yeah.
my street supervisor and I had an idea too, we were talking about it. And we thought that, cause both of us don't like the fact that it says visit Louisiana, Missouri as your, like our thought was you're gonna pass the sign going 60 miles an hour, read visit Louisiana, Missouri and ask yourself, okay, what's Louisiana, Missouri? Or first you're gonna laugh like, oh, there's a town in Louisiana. Oh, it's in Missouri. And then you're like, what's Louisiana as you're crossing the river? And so we thought about something that would say maybe, have a photo of like the view from Riverview, cemetery over like to the river and over the town. And then like have that photo on there and say, historic Riverview Cemetery overlook 7 miles ahead on the left or however far it is. So we had that idea for, and I guess it could fit in the spring.
Does that necessarily bring people into town?
I mean, I know if I was driving and I saw it, I would stop.
Right, but isn't Riverview kind of just on the edge of town? Not necessarily getting people to come down Georgia and
Not down
pay for their businesses and.
not down Georgia per se, but I mean, if I stopped here and said I come through, stop, go to the cemetery, say, okay, well, we're here, we might as well see,
I think you're right. I think pointing out the draws that the city already has is a great thing to do. Like Louisiana has so many great things.
Mhm.
And river views, the river, that's a huge part of it.
Yeah,
I
you
think
can sit up at Riverview Park in a 2-hour period and count any number of out of county.
Oh, for sure.
Out of state folks, it's crazy.
Yeah, and those same people that are coming in to see the river view are visiting downtown.
Right.
So,
I see both perspectives. I think you've shared that with me before, like having like a turn here, kind of, because, and I do agree with, as you're driving by, it's like, oh, there's Louisiana, but if you're going, then you're just going, like something that's gonna draw them somewhere.
Yeah.
And I see your perspective of, but we gotta get on into our
Right.
business community.
Right.
Yeah,
And so
Once we have
Good
something,
direction.
once we have something on the riverfront, we could certainly direct it to that. And in the coming years, we'll see, my intention with the riverfront is to channel people from Georgia to the riverfront, vice versa. But I have some ideas for how to do that, that's not for here at this moment. And I wanna like, man, that is the ultimate goal, is to get them to, ultimate goal is to get them to come to Georgia and, stop at the shells, but right now, I'm open to the ideas, like, what could we direct them to on this side of town that would be like, oh, hey, that looks cool, let's go see that.
There is.
The murals are a huge thing, and I don't think.
We don't market that.
We don't, and it's huge. Yeah, I mean, the murals,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there are so many things we could do
Do you
with
get
that.
people from out of town that ask you about them all the time?
Yes, all the time. We should, I don't know, maybe one exists that I just don't know about, but even if we had like a Facebook page or QR codes that people could scan and then tag, just, I don't know, that's just like.
There is,
The brochure had a walking tour tied to it.
Mm.
For the murals.
murals back on the city page.
There's a couple of other cool things. The cemetery
There
has
is the website,
sweet people in it.
yeah, but it,
And you could do like,
I didn't find scout,
scout or
but it might be back, I'm not sure what the situation is with that, but.
Or
And there is a brochure, it's the board and it's updated.
That's what
There
it is.
is a brochure.
I food bars, but I don't know where that.
Some of it, a lot of it. Have you been? I mean, you.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, it was more like a.
Lakeside.
cool.
Yeah. The murals need to be revitalized. They're,
Some of
Some
them aren't
aren't
looking
very
good.
shape.
That's been an ongoing trouble over the last, at least since I've been on tourism, we've reached out to the high school time and time again to try to get people out. To work on them, there's no interest.
Madison Adams' mother is an artist. She even said that she would like to start working on it.
My wife is as well, and she'd be more than happy to.
yeah,
Well,
Yeah, I'd
Tanya,
love to see other people.
the one on,
contacts.
the one on
Connected.
Fowler's, Tanya. I'm sure she would. Come back and
I know. People had some concerns. To an issue, they
Give
need
them the
to
opportunity first, and then they don't want to.
Actually,
Is it one of the artists not around anymore? One that
I
did
think
kind of it?
that, well, there were several
There's a-
that weren't from around here. There were a number of them that weren't from around here, but I think. Of course, there's nobody still around that was probably on, oh, Ed Pennington went down. I think they had to sign the rights over to the mural committee.
Okay.
So that they could continue to maintain them if the artist wasn't around anyway. Cause I'm not positive that that's the case.
There's, I don't know if anybody's close to the owners of the Pierre, but there is a metal post that goes up that obviously has a sign on the top of. I would love, that would be great, right when you come over the bridge to Point.
Is that
Towards
theirs or is it
downtown. It's theirs.
It's theirs.
Well, he said it was, cause when we welcomed him to town, whatever, with the Louisiana Community Betterment. I said, hey, if you're not gonna be using that post. I have an idea. He goes, well, if it gets used, I'll be using it. Now, that was several years ago and he hasn't done anything. But that might be something that we could get, couldn't be huge, but it could be decent size, and when you come across the bridge. You make that, you're right like that, and it would be great to have something scoping out your property, but you're down too far to do anything, with the marina. But we need something, and John says, give up their sign on that sign. I'm going to keep bugging him. And there's also been, we've kicked around, but it may have to be more of a fundraiser. It's a nice, Fallon has a number, they have a nice, welcome to done with stone, some kind of paper stuff, that would be awesome, but again, it's all planning and getting people here.
I will say the welcome signs are something And of course, we welcome collaboration, the city itself can do those. We could talk for hours on why we haven't. But in terms of materials, and I don't mean this to sound like, we have an abundance of extra money because everyone in the world knows that we don't right now. But in terms of like the rock and the signage and whatnot, comparatively as a percentage of our budgets, it's infinitely less for us. And so if tourism wanted to design it and then just tell us like, hey, I want this to look like this, we can go out and we can install it, and that's just a matter of us going out there for a day, laying some rock, concrete, and that's it.
That's all right.
Yeah, the one coming in off South 79 is over.
And we want, my biggest thing, and this is all I would ask, of course, as every, committee commission, my job is just to execute what you guys decide. I would just ask that it remain consistent, please. That's probably the biggest thing that I've been told since I was here, is kind of what Susan said earlier, is there's no cohesive identity.
Branded.
Yeah,
Most towns that are successful are brand,
Yes.
their
Well, we
tourism
hired
is branded.
We hired a corporation, we hired a marketing company to come in, and they did all of those designs for us, and then the next person that came in, well, it was all of a sudden something else, and it was something that they did on their computer, it wasn't.
When was this?
I think that's
When was this?
When we hired the corporation,
Yeah.
17, 16,
Hmm.
17, somewhere around in there probably. We spent a lot of money doing it,
Do we still have all that?
Is that the red one
I would think.
that looks very modern? Or is it one with the big L?
It's the one with the big L.
That one
And it
looks,
was, they designed it that way so that like community betterment could use the same logo and it would say, and just change the underneath that says Louisiana Community Betterment. Chamber could use the same logo, which we did, only it would just say Louisiana Chamber of Commerce underneath. So we were using everybody was using all the same logo. And, and then just put our, whatever you call it, what do you call that?
What's your tagline, your
Tagline, that's the word I was looking for.
we need to brand our town and say this is who we are.
And it's on all the,
I'll throw in here because I was just curious. Yeah, it's all gone. Just because I was curious, I googled one day Missouri's picturesque Rivertown, and Herman comes up, so we may want to go with something else. So we don't direct people to Herman.
Well, when you come in to town, there's a state sign that says Mural City. Now, since then, because we've kind of dropped the ball on the murals as a community, there's other towns that have tried to pick that up. But, there's a state sign that says Mural City.
It's ours to lose, and we're on the cusp of it, but. And I will say that was one of the asks that I was gonna have for you guys is there was a lot of this discussion of, okay, the mural commission or whatever it was, disbanded, and certain people with authority said that it wasn't the city's responsibility to take that over, and I humbly disagree. I know Mark feels differently, I know he feels the same way. Feels differently in terms of how it was done before. And we'd like to ask you guys to tourism to take over the murals and maybe capitalize on that.
What did you say you Googled and Herman came up? What was it exactly?
Missouri's picturesque Rivertown.
And personally, I would like to steer us away from utilizing the river as a draw. I feel like we are a town on the river, not a river town. We don't have, raft groups and anything like that really dropping in. Yes, we do have a very nice parking lot and a boat ramp. But past that, I don't feel like people are coming to look at the river from our town. In comparison to somewhere, say like Clarksville, that has a very nice park and things like that. So
I think we don't now, but I think we should.
I would love to see something done with that.
Yeah.
But
You're right, we don't now.
yeah, personally, I
It's just
don't
not
think
there.
we are a river town. I think Hannibal is a river town. It is something that's there and actively being utilized and is a draw, and there's a reason to stand at the river.
I think it's objective. I think we are a river town. I think we see a lot of tourism, of people boating. It's huge.
Okay.
We do have a lot of tourism, and I think you and I probably have a different perspective than most people because we interact with those people every single day, where most people in the community don't. So like, I sit here and I say like, guys, there are people from out of state, multiple people from out of state traveling to this town on purpose every day. And I'm sure, I know you know that too, because I'm sure you have the same conversations I do all day long. And most people in this town are like, what are you talking about? But they're here, they're coming.
Cause we take it for granted because it's right there.
Well, and you're not having the one-on-one conversations with, you know, the people coming in your business are locals,
Right.
you know? And the people coming in here are locals, you know? And same thing with your type of business, you know, I mean, you have some not locals. You know, maybe you saw it down at, I don't know, did you ever see it down at the arcade, like the travelers? Oh, yeah. Are you?
I'll say that book you have in your lobby kind of proves the point.
And only about 25% of people sign it.
Yeah, I was looking at it.
I don't know, yeah,
Crazy.
it is crazy. But if I have time, I will say, oh, make sure you sign the book, but honestly, the most people that sign it are just the people that choose to do it on their own, you know? But
But are they coming for the river? Like, I guess that's more so my question is why are they coming to town?
so what I believe, and I could be wrong, just my observation and what's shared with me from them. What I believe is that at a certain point, and you might have specific insight to this, and so may you, at a certain point, we were advertised on a national scale for murals, Great River Road, the riverfront, the historical buildings. And some of that is still residually happening. And yeah. Some of that is still residually happening. For example, a lady wrote an article the other day. She posted it as if she had been in town, but her information was outdated. So, but she shared it online, you know, like, oh, but it was outdated information. So she was gathering her information from other sources, kind of putting a spin on like, oh, you know, to this great town. But really it was just, she was gathering, from my opinion, old information. But when I ask people that are, you know, traveling through, and I'll say, well, what about you? You know, oh, we just heard it was a beautiful town. We came to see the architecture. We came to see the river. We came to see the hills. You know, we came to
A
see
lot
the
of people
murals.
just travel 79 just for the drive.
Yes.
And where are you going? Sometimes it's not really going anywhere other than just seeing the countryside. And we just happen to be one of the places they plan on stopping at. We get a lot of traffic from, I don't know the exact route or why, but Springfield, Illinois, a lot of people come here. And if they're passing from St. Louis to the Ozarks, they will come here. And a lot of people that want to do the loop from Alton to go up the Illinois side of Great River Road, and then they'll travel the Missouri's Great River Road. So
That's the route we should be promoting.
it's heavily traveled.
It's huge. We had a survey done by somebody, Illinois, on the Illinois side at the marina. And it was crazy, the number of travelers they tracked that were actually doing that.
We're a good day trip from St. Louis.
Easy.
You get a lot of that.
Perfect,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and I think that's more so my question is where are we seeing that we are the destination, not a stop through, not a happenstance, not a I have to pee and eat a sandwich.
Yeah.
What are we the destination for?
We're
And
missing out on that.
who are those people that are coming to Louisiana for Louisiana?
That's
And are there those people currently?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we're missing that, and we have to figure out what that's gonna be as a town. And they'll comment on that. Our tourists will stop and they will say, okay, well, what else is there to do in town? And I'll say, to go to the riverfront. Yep.
Did you go to Handmade Harvest? Yep. Did you go to Georgia Street Antique? Yep. You go to Lay Center? No, I didn't go to that one yet, but what else? Well, you know, then you're trying to tell them all the things and they're going,
Cemetery.
I've already done so. And so you you get that feel back from them that they're like, okay, well, I did everything you said already and there's nothing else.
Half day,
You know, you're right, like, what is the attraction? There's some, but
Right,
So not enough.
we need murals. Cindy, I might ask you to help me, I'm doing something with the cemetery. Because we've got silent movie stars and we've got all kinds of really interesting people in there.
And we have Missouri coming. Very up there for
When
God's sakes.
my kids were, they were all college when I moved down here, high school, college. And they would drive down, get them here on Friday night, and then we'd take them over here for breakfast. And then I'd say, so are you going to the cemetery? And these kids would go, what? Because they didn't realize the best view of the river anywhere. But we do have a lot of things. I think we just need to work on making something out of it. You know, so yeah, you can go to the cemetery, but you could look for this person and a little blurb about who they were, what they did, or what makes them unique. This person.
The way you could do it is like you're doing the QR codes on the houses and buildings. There could be a QR code at the cemetery that told who they were, their history.
And we could get like little stakes with the small.
I will add, and I'll bring it before you guys, by next month. I've been working on a comprehensive plan and tourism is that's my dream for you guys to consider. One of the ones I have though for the cemetery is, I don't know how much you guys know like state parks and whatnot. I love hiking and a lot of places have scenic overlooks. Something that's maybe 40 foot high, 20 to 40 foot high, just a set of stairs that you can climb up. We have just enough space at the top of Riverview Cemetery to put one. It'll take a few years putting some money back on the city side. My intention though is to have one of those built in a couple years. And
And the
I,
flagpole.
nearby, yeah. And I think that'll enhance, the view there greatly.
The trees have the nerve to crop.
I think that would stop the dumping out there.
Stand people there, you
Yeah.
take it with the river.
I think those kind of
But
things
then the trees screw up and you didn't see as much of the river.
fit in what you were saying about what is the attraction, like at certain places like the cemetery, okay, if we have the overlook, if we have something like a QR, guided tour, okay, now we're transitioning to, we know we have this great cemetery, how are we making it an attraction?
Well, and I don't know that we have to be a destination. We can be part of a destination. We should be partnering with Clarksville. We should be partnering with Hannibal.
I was gonna,
Because Clarksville isn't a destination either. There's nothing down there to do for an entire day. But there's something to do in both communities for an entire day. So we're crazy to be so selfish that we're not partnering with them and saying, adding a dam tour. Not a dam tour, sure.
There you go. The dam.
I have, and I wasn't gonna say it, and I don't mean to interrupt you, or you. I wasn't gonna say it, but I don't think I'm just gonna speak freely here. I don't think Louisiana is a destination. I don't think our success is gonna lie in pretending that we can be. I'm sorry. Throw your tomatoes and stuff at me. But that doesn't mean, like she said, that we can't, have different things. And I have another thing from I call it the Riverfront Plaza, an idea of what we can do down there.
We could be a stopover.
We can be
We
a-
don't have to be a destination necessarily. It'd be great if we made it to that.
That would be great. I think for the next, the plan ends in 2051. I don't think, well, I mean, that's standard for a citywide comprehensive plan. It's actually a little short, and I don't think even in that time period that's gonna be feasible. But if we make, these small incremental changes, like I said, it'll take a couple of years to save up the money for the city to build the overlook. But once we, save up the money within 10 years, do we save for 10 years? Okay, what's the point of like saving $10,000 a year to build it? Or in 10 years, do we look back And we go, okay, cool, we have something now. Or are we facing those same problems then? And now, I mean, we have to do something. I don't want to do any more of these meetings where we just talk and we're like, okay, this is great, let's do it. And then,
How many comprehensive plans are on the shelf over there that's somewhere?
there
And
are,
that's my only thing when I hear those.
That's fair.
Oh my God, not another.
that is fair.
Because you do them and then they go on that shelf and they never come off that shelf again.
I will
If
say,
you promise you're gonna implement something out of it.
Yes.
Just,
I have compiled them actually, and they're all in my office. There's 12 of them. If you guys are so interested, I will walk down there real quick and grab them.
I am, but maybe another day.
And the stack's not this thick. If you ever come into my office, it's the middle stack on the middle shelf. There's about 12 of them. And what's more staggering than that is the cost that the city spent to have them professionally developed when whoever was doing my job, whenever they were doing my job, could have just done it. I will say, I think I know what those have lacked is what's called a strategic plan.
some of them have been done locally because I've had, so.
Yeah, some have been done locally. I know there was one that the city paid, I think, $180,000 to have done. That was a choice, but what a lot of them do lack on our end is a strategic plan, which is an administrative function that says, okay, we're at point A, so point B is the comprehensive plan would say, we pay a company, they come and they say, okay, put an overlook on Riverview Cemetery, and then they have this big meeting and they say, hey, everybody, citizens, we're gonna put an overlook on Riverview Cemetery. We have a plan to get there the plan is to have one in 10 years. And then 10 years comes by and it's like, wait, where's that?
Yeah, I wanna lose weight. But unless
Someone-
you put a diet into place, you don't lose weight. You know,
Exactly.
That's same thing.
And the strategic portion of that is me saying, okay, well, we're gonna put $10, $15, $20,000 back in a CD or an account every year, specifically for that purpose. Everyone has told me since I've come here, we gotta make town better for our kids and grandkids. 20 years isn't gonna mean anything to them. In 20 years, my kids will start being able to make real memories. And in 20 years, I know Louisiana can do these things. Last thing I'll add is, and you probably would correct me on this, I was told that the first big push to get the riverfront developed happened when the guys came home from World War II. We're approaching the 100th anniversary of World War II, guys. And I'm going to be very frank here. How long, and I'm saying this to urge the point that, let's talk about the ideas, but please let's settle on a plan of action. How long will we sit and say, okay, these are the ideas, these are the plans? At a certain point, it becomes failure, and at a certain amount of failure, I will say it's not worth trying anymore.
Well, you're preaching to the choir with this group, because we really don't have anything to do with it. We're the ones that were promoting when you get it done.
Yes. So I do have, circling it back, I do have a tendency to ramble, I apologize. Circling it back, I don't think we're a destination. I don't think we should attempt to be one. But having a couple of different things, something on the riverfront, an overlook up there. I do have an idea for what could make us a slight destination. And I'll just throw it out there. I'd like to turn a portion of Star Hill into a state park. I've talked with conservation about what that would look like. There's an area behind it, about 60 acres. I'd aim to acquire that. I think is the best idea that I've come up with myself. Please throw much better ones out.
With trails and things like that.
Yeah, with the trails and
Trails.
And my intention for it is to have our grounds guys go out and pave the trails and the city acquire the property and essentially we go to Missouri Conservation, we put in our application and we say, here's this pre-set up state park, just name it a state park, take it over. And then conservation takes over the maintenance of those. So
I think that we are not a destination, but that we could be. And I think that we should be. And I think that my opinion, I think the focus of the destination should be attracting people that love nature, art, and architecture. And I do think that we have the ability, not quickly, but if we have a real plan to develop, put in place, and have follow through, and we figure out a way to stop this cycle of every time there is a new person in a position in any group within the city, and I don't mean the city, just
No, I know what you mean.
within the community, that we don't just keep going and undoing everything or dropping the ball on all the work.
Inventing the wheel every single time.
Right, the wheel just keeps on getting reinvented. And the ball keeps getting dropped, and then we stop the initiatives that people have already put hard work in place for, hence like the murals and things of that sort. I mean, I think we're far from a destination, but I think we have all the important components to be a destination. And I think some people might be scared of saying, oh, we don't want to be a destination. But when we're, again, my opinion of the type of destination we should try to be, which is people that love nature, people that love art, and people that love architecture, then I think we are attracting the right people to our community that would respect our community.
Those people that we hired for the Main Street program, sitting here trying to think of their names, they said we are really, because of our architecture, they said that could be our
We
our
have the
calling.
most intact Victorian streetscape in the state, if not the country, because of.
It's out of the Mississippi River.
Yeah,
The Metzger buildings, there's a whole website of all of the Metzger buildings.
Well, that's what they recommended, that should be your calling card. And so that goes right in hand with what you were talking about.
And then, of course,
It's
it's ancient.
ancient easy because the river's there.
Well, we have the Lay Center, we have the beautiful hills already, we've got Star Hill, if we've got, we know the cemetery is not nature, but it's in a nature-esque type setting. Anyway, but to finish my thought is if we were to become a destination, if we were to figure out a plan for that, like you said, a plan that we actually put into action, not just talking about it, but if we were to actually bring things to fruition, then that allows us to have more Airbnbs, more hotels, more motels for people to stay at, more restaurants, more retail shopping, more specialty type shops like what you do. And that allows us to then create a better quality of living for our residents. And that's what our residents are screaming for.
Mm-hmm.
And
Causing.
and because what we do know, by my opinion, I guess I'll say, my opinion is that our businesses we cannot survive off of our locals alone. They're not able to support our retail establishments and our restaurants, our specialty stores alone. And so if we want, everyone says we need more businesses, we need these empty buildings filled. Well, that comes with, we have to draw people here also for those businesses to be able to survive.
Exactly.
And so it kind of, hand in hand. But on a separate note, something I need to point out, as I thought about this earlier in the week and then I saw it on here. I need to make note to all of you that I'm here as Brooke, an individual, not Brooke, the executive director of the chamber. And so there will be some things that I have to abstain on, like the billboard, when we're talking about maybe putting a color vest in and stuff like that, that's probably a conflict of interest for me too. So just know if I abstain, that's just because I feel like it's likely a conflict of interest and something that I should be putting my vote on, so it should not be myself.
I think economic development also kind of goes hand in hand. I kind of picture a CEO of a company coming to look at the town and see if he wants to move his business here. And I see him riding down Georgia Street with his wife, saying, this is where we're gonna move and everything, and he comes downtown, it's like, she goes, you want us to move here? And And it's kind of next, the economic development part of it too,
Mhm.
as far as bringing companies in business.
Right,
So,
ties in very close.
mhm.
We've never had committees that function at this level, I don't think. But it is possible, like procedurally, to do a joint committee meeting if that ever becomes necessary.
Do we have an economic development? Really
Me too.
interesting.
Me too.
Is that new?
Newly formed.
I think all of them are new, yeah.
Oh, I just meant like, was there a group of people who did that in the past?
I mean, there
Or are
were.
you meaning it's just new members?
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So
We need to,
focusing on the billboard.
Yeah.
Get that on.
Select chair.
Is there a spending limit that committee is allowed to?
$5,000. Up to $5,000, and you can't enter a contract, without council approval.
I'll take this to council
Yeah, we'll take it to the council, next week, so.
first week.
So it would be your tourism's recommendation to move forward with this, and then your liaison takes it to council and says,
Yes.
tourism is recommending we move forward with this, do you approve this bill or not? Or contract,
Basically,
is that what we're-
it's your money. Yeah, the way the statute reads, it goes in to a fund, a separate checking account. And the council's to provide you a budget for the year, but kind of like to see what thoughts are, and then you get to decide how to spend the money in that budget. Since we're kind of from scratch.
Is there a budget?
No,
Where's the one that was before?
that never has been. I would recommend, because we're late in the process at the mid-year, I would recommend implementing one, but there's not a terrible need. For one, there's no employees, there's no recurring expenses really other than this. So. But
My fur coats for.
I think honestly that we have a budget for another committee, the Health, Housing and Senior Service Committee. And they only have one item on their budget, and that's the mosquito spray. That's it, and so that's for the benefit of public health. And so this is enough to just do a budget. And I would recommend doing one, but there hasn't been I won't say there hasn't been a committee, but there hasn't been like a quorum, is that fair? To be able to make decisions, that's how I was like presented to Chase to me.
We had a budget that was laid out by the treasurer that we got regular updates from.
I'm sorry, Chase told me there wasn't one, and Alyssa told me there wasn't one.
I think generally, you need
Okay.
to.
I mean, we were getting
yourselves
some kind of
into
statements.
too.
Yeah.
That we're a budget and we had regular meetings about when things were coming out.
I will discuss with her.
I mean, unless they weren't calling it a budget, but we were a line item on the main budget because we have a bank account.
Yeah, like you guys have your own separate account and everything. I'll discuss that with the treasurer.
Okay.
Yeah, we probably should have.
Yeah, from my understanding,
have a
we had a
report.
budget
Yeah.
because our budget,
out invoices to us.
yeah, our budget, even though we had 30 in the account, our budget was generally only 10 or 15 a year.
Like I was personally like horrified to know that the person didn't have a budget. But with all the things I had seen, it wasn't.
No,
You did-
we
yeah.
had a
It
budget.
didn't even cross my mind when like two people told me there wasn't. So I'm like, oh, okay, sure, that's just one more thing. And so I'm thrilled to know that there is one. It's just up to me now to figure out why I was told that there wasn't.
Did they use probably something that wasn't formal, more just like.
Okay.
Did they use, because they anticipated 3,000 a quarter?
Yeah, it was based on what was expected coming in and then what our previous year's expenses had been.
And then just use the balance as a buffer.
Yeah, there was always a little
That
bit
makes sense.
extra. I think we in general spent around 9 to 10 a year. It wasn't much, especially when we were told to no longer be doing print advertisement. But we did kind of have a budget laid out of this is how much we're gonna spend for the house tour, this is for the church tour, this is for Color Fest, this is for the 4th of July, like. There was a general layout.
I would like to see, just if you have confabbing a little bit, just say, hey, this is kind of how we're looking over the next year, how we want to advertise the town. Missouri, like theirs was a big back and forth on that. Oh, nobody reads print, and I said, but
Read it every month.
I disagree. Because you subscribe to that, and if you're gonna go out of your way to subscribe to a magazine,
And then I
You're
pass
gonna-
it to 3 other people.
so I think that's, and one thing also, the state of Missouri, is that to bring it.
Is that on the budget?
That's
It says budget.
I mean, that,
This is kind of expensive. But it's the official Missouri tourist guide, and so I really, if.
and you know,
Yeah, the
I'm not
budget
hating on you
would be
before,
well, who had a bunch of these? have
We
some
can do better.
downstairs.
I vote yes.
Yeah, I know, that was just, you see this every time we have a
Do you
meeting,
get this?
get this printed out.
Have you seen?
That's what I'm saying, like, there was like some.
yeah, I'm better, I think.
I think that's
I'm
something
thrilled.
we really, it's, yeah, like expensive. Right.
Yeah, that's why I brought this.
I agree with you. Well, no, we kept arguing that point to we're blue in the face. And I'm like, no, nobody ever reads print. I think you have to do all because
Right.
I don't listen to the radio. I had to for work at a radio station, had to all the time. But a lot of older people listen to the radio all the time. I mean, for get their news and information. There's some that read the newspaper, there's people that do Facebook. There's things, yeah, you have to do it. You can't just say, oh, we're gonna do just radio advertising, we're gonna do just.
You can't.
print."
You cannot choose media and have any response from it. It just does not work.
What are you gonna? This is gonna show how, I don't know, bad person I can be. But Cindy knows I have done a website with old houses, the buildings and histories. And I have like 400 and something people that subscribe to a newsletter, which I haven't been able to do last year. But I have not promoted us like the home tour or things like that. That's something I very much like to start doing. And I think those will bring people in that have an interest in our architecture and that. I kind of didn't get along there, so I was not gonna help him out. But that's rude on me. But I really think our town is, obviously by the results of the election, our town is really ready to move forward and pull together. We have people to do it. And we have a lot of skilled labor in town, and I think we could. I raised one summer $1,200 in ghost tours for for a gazebo. Now I'd like to do one on this empty lot over here. Start putting flowers and plants and try to make that like it's just sitting there with nothing on it. This lot just south of us. And
Pull out the drawings
Start
we had done for it. That's been done too. Just
never
never
see if we can raise the money to get it.
So I've got hands of plan, just another drawing.
No action.
you know,
But we have to know people that can do, I can build, I'd like sometimes go with the other end of this. No, but we can do some things.
You've got me thinking about the murals now because I've been worried about a lot of them. So are you thinking that the city can actually take those over? And then tourism can use those we could use them as a draw no matter what, but do they not belong to the people whose building that they're on? Or,
that's part of the thing, so Mark and I believe that it's the city's responsibility to figure out who takes care of them. I don't know how the city would itself, and we can work through the logistics of that. Because we thought it fit in with tourism, we're gonna ask tourism to do that. Now, in a sense, like we can send workers out and stuff to, hang them up or if one falls, stuff like that. And one of the biggest thing we wanted to figure out was and we haven't been able to, when that committee or commission like dissolved, we don't really know who got ownership of the murals. And so our
Ed
understanding,
Pennington, I think, is the only one that is still around. You know, Ed?
our understanding is that it's the building owners.
Well, I tend to think that because the one that was on Joe's Jug, when Boy sold it, he took it down and took it with the.
We've got the one for the old ice house somewhere. And then like the old Leslie building, which one on the side of that? All that in instead of the side building. He probably doesn't know he owns the sign.
He does, but yes,
Isn't there one leaning up against the glove factory or
it
something?
was something we picked up off the ground. It was, Billy Graham, was that property? Where it was laying on the ground, and so he was asked to get it off the ground. And I believe it was moved, but I don't know where it was moved to.
It's still, it's laying.
It's still in the building outside,
Yeah, but it's not completely on the ground.
maybe they put something under it. But,
Oh, no, it's just the frame sitting on the ground.
um,
When he presented it to me, was that it was laying on the ground, like the whole thing.
And the one that was on the Pike Medical is disappeared.
Okay, that one we don't know.
The clinic.
Right across the street.
There was this,
That we don't know. Cause you guys aren't the first ones to ask me about that one.
it was up 2 years ago, and then they were working.
Well, when it changed hands, it disappeared.
It could have just been,
Campbell Regional Hospital.
Probably sitting in a storage room somewhere.
hate to say it, but that's probably the more likely.
Is there, like a mission statement of some sort of what the goal is of our group? Other than to promote tourism, is there anything specific so that we maybe have some direction amongst ourselves? Cause what we can do is end up talking about a lot of ideas and then
That's what I was
then we
just.
don't do anything because we've got all these ideas, and
We can definitely start with one, the murals, if we find out who they belong to. You know, we already have 2 people that are volunteering to, reconstruct or whatever. So, let's put a date, June 12th, these 2 people or plus 4 are gonna get together and we're gonna do this. It's, I think, that easy.
Some easy action.
Like, as long as we put dates down and contact these people, I'll volunteer, but then I can take instruction, and let's just get it done instead of talking about it.
I agree.
The first thing we'll have to do is.
so easy to talk and.
Yeah.
Oh, we already got 2 people.
We find out who
I'll
owns
call,
it first.
I'll call Ed tomorrow.
Okay. Right. And then we'll have to get permission from, them in writing, of course, and I can work with whoever you guys decide the chairs to be. To get that in writing. Just to limit liability and that fun stuff, and then we can certainly, set a date. I believe Susan has all their emails. And if she, do you have all their contact?
I have all the phone numbers, I don't have their email contacts.
And Jenny, you're the secretary, right?
Yes.
Okay, can I ask you to get everyone's emails?
Yeah.
Just so then we can, coordinate through that from there, and then, and then after we get those documents, we can totally, sort of a date, go out and buy some paint. Really that simple.
Well, H&B and People's Bank and Trust have both restored theirs in the last year. So, oh, okay. So, it'd be interesting to know who did the restoration work on theirs, cause they look great,
Yeah.
and those kind of people specialize in that, they know the exact paint to use, they know the exact type of sealer, to keep things from flaking and fading and peeling and even H&B and People's, Jackson and Ben, they may specifically know who, what, when, where, why, and how that got put in their responsibility wheel, because obviously they're the ones that none of us
restored up.
So I would assume that they took that on as their in Trumbull House too, you know?
Yeah.
And that may help answer the question of.
That's a good action item we can give the chair.
So do we need to decide that before,
Yes.
meeting finishes, the chair and the co-chair? We have to choose those people, right?
Yes.
You know this.
And we go down to the other thing, we need to decide when's best to meet for regular monthly meetings, so that we know. If you need to call once in between, fine, but we did it quite a bit by email a lot, because people are so busy during that time. You know, we can do that, so we do need to vote on this, and then I can make myself available. You know, most any time. But you guys have, this is that you have to. Go in and just pick one.
Any self-nominations for chair?
B, would you do it since you've already had experience in
Any
this?
following polls? Yeah,
Yeah.
It's just that 1 year, remember?
you don't have to say.
I would love to participate more than I facilitate, if I may.
As Susan said when she was nominated for mayor pro tem, I respectfully decline.
It was a busy year and I don't know that I could give it my full.
That's respectable. Alright, we'll get back on the table.
All voting said be.
When I chair, I delegate though, babe.
So Cindy, the first job.
We need to make a motion to recommend, we need to make a motion and to recommend that to the council, that we pay the $40,000.
You wanna add the skins too to that?
We can do that later.
We don't need this thing to
What does the date say that we have to have that signed by?
Well, I already told him what's going on, I already talked to our rep. And what they're gonna do is I told him we have to approve our council meeting. So Tuesday, I'm gonna call him, he's gonna send it to you electronically, and you can sign it electronically. So they want to do it on Tuesday, 'cause so they know what's going on, and it's all the
Thank you for that.
political stuff we have to do to get it.
For the skins and stuff, that doesn't have to be added, it's not part of the contract, and if it is part of the contract, it would be covered, if it's not, it doesn't cover it doesn't press the $5,000.
Well, you don't have a bid for the skins. Yes, you know, we have a idea of what it is.
It's $2 a square foot, so he was going about 700, I think that's what happened.
Yeah, that's what we were paying last year as well.
And you guys only have to enter bids for, bear with me for a second, for contracts and for purchases over 5,000. Now, since this contract, you're re-entering it, you don't have to.
And because there's no compete. Because Lamar owns both of those billboards at that location. There's not a competing location.
There's how it would be viewed, just like procedurally, it would like be the tourism committee, like commission's like intended purpose to have a billboard. And so we run into that a lot, especially with like IT stuff or like certain specialized chemicals that we use for the streets and grounds. There's literally nowhere else you can get the things. But since our intent is to, you know, go get weed killer, we might have to go price the equivalent of 100 gallons of, you know, Roundup versus like whatever we're getting. And so the intention would be to get a billboard. We would have, you know, price on 61, price on 79. But we don't have to do any of that since we're just getting a contract.
Well, and plus, based on where they are, it would be way more expensive,
Oh, sure.
huge difference.
I will say, I hate to be the Debbie Downer, but as Mark has learned recently, the bureaucracy is never ending. And it's just my job to make sure we're compliant with that.
I don't pay that for a 3-year, I do mine on a 3-year contract, I don't pay it after 3 years.
You wanna sublease your building?
No,
Then that's something you can look into for the next.
what are we paying, what's the chamber pay?
Don't worry about that, but Lamar doesn't, know.
Right.
Where does Chambers go?
Right past
The ones
there.
that need work.
Have freedom.
79 coming, close to Dino, coming from Clarksville into Louisiana, on the right hand side of 79. And then on Highway 54, just past, this billboard. If you continue straight, it's on the right hand side before the Starks Cabin, but it's on the right hand side. And then the, one at Stark Cabin, as you're coming into town on Georgia Street.
Oh, so you're talking about like the wooden sign? Okay, so not like vinyl billboard.
You know, they're painted.
They're painted, but yeah, they're wooden signs.
Oh.
And then we have a Lamar vinyl. And that small sign, it's not as large as billboard, the small sign outside of Walmart.
Okay.
And then this welcome to Louisiana sign, this wood sign, is a chamber sign.
Well, certainly here's some.
But Lamar doesn't think many of
Right, I
I
just,
just really where the sign itself, so that's why mine, those are comparable to yours.
right, that's where I was like, that's apples and oranges.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So are we making a motion to vote on this?
Someone has to make a motion.
I'll make a motion to vote.
Second. Someone has to second it.
I'll second it.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
I understand.
I'll write a resolution and then, Cindy, if you can come present it, or you can have Susan do it, or Susan can have me do it.
I thought Susan, it had to go to Susan for her to present as the liaison.
Yeah, I'm saying like you can, she can, she can, or
Oh.
you guys, either you can delegate it to me.
I'm gonna be there anyway. Whatever you want to do, like,
No, that's her.
just so send it to you.
You want anybody else to need to go over?
Me, please.
Oh, one day more to the meeting.
Not 7 o'clock.
Yeah, same, preferably not this.
Yeah, I'll say it was only 7, again, that procedural, since tourism was technically appointed at 6 p.m. last night. Or maybe like 6:04. I'm just gonna say this statement, y'all know what I'm talking about. I didn't want anyone to say, okay, the meeting was technically called 23 hours, 56 minutes before. So any decisions made are,
I get it,
yeah, you guys
but I'm
understand.
not doing 7.
Yeah, so please let's not do 7 again, I don't think.
I prefer Mondays. It doesn't have to be a Monday, that's just my preference.
But Sunday,
This is not bad take.
I will not always be here in person, I'll always be on Zoom, like, so the 5 of you, really your schedules that are.
So I can do Tuesdays anytime. Well, varying like doctor's appointments and animal appointments and any other appointments, but I'm
Until,
open on Tuesdays.
until we get you to open Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll not have it.
Any day but Friday through the weekends. Generally fine, I have a couple of Thursdays that are busy here soon with private events. Yeah,
Mondays at 5.
I know about you,
Every day is, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Maybe before.
So whatever you guys decide on, I'll do my best to
You
hear
put it on
first
your calendar.
or video. So whatever you guys.
I can't do Mondays, yeah, because we do
Oh, yeah.
fire ups on Monday,
Yeah.
and they're anywhere from 8 to 12-hour days.
She told me that, I'm sorry for it. I also
Can
explained
you
why I
do
think.
Tuesdays?
Mhm.
Can you do Tuesday? You can do Tuesday. How do you do Tuesday? Tuesdays are good. Tuesdays, I'm not sure that works. Tuesdays at 5.
Wait, every Tuesday? No, I mean, I'm
like, man, that's a lot of action.
No,
Third Tuesday? Or second Tuesday? I don't know what this one is, third?
This one's the third.
There's,
I would prefer a second or a fourth Tuesday because that's when we have council on Monday and then we might have a week off. With the second and fourth, good with
Well, if you
me.
guys, yeah, if you guys have things to
See
bring
that.
to the council,
Yeah.
you'll have to, like, if it lands, you know, the day after a regular council meeting, you'll have to wait a month to bring it to the council.
Cause our regular meeting,
So
so
if we
first
just
and
the
the
second Tuesday, then I can bring it on.
Yeah.
And get into the.
so our regular council meeting, from the first meeting or the second?
It's the second Mondays. Is
Tuesday.
that what you meant?
Every month, second Tuesday.
the fourth is when we actually vote.
Which one's the regular?
Yeah.
The fourth Monday.
Yes, done.
Okay, sorry.
We
So if we had it on the second Tuesday, then anything that we needed to be brought to the council could be brought
2 Mondays.
to Monday. Yeah. Only 2 weeks later.
Still at work for second Tuesday.
I will have the city clerk call and post those meetings for the next year until the next appointments are made on the second Tuesday of every month, barring holidays and whatnot. Then if there's anything like that, just skip it and bring it up to you guys.
Can you do that in advance?
Mhm.
And then you don't have to do it next 24 hours.
It'll be 12 months in advance, yeah.
Sweet.
I know we've never posted a meeting early, but we can.
Why don't we do our regular council meeting then?
We can.
Maybe we have.
Your agenda.
We
Yeah, the agenda, that's the catch, yeah. So yeah, I would do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Your
for
calendar,
sure.
your calendar posted that far in advance, I would think, but you can't.
We can't officially post
You can post your agenda.
We need to vote for a vice chair as well.
So if the statute mandates that.
Here. Either one of you two.
Should.
Oh,
There you go. Right.
Done.
Um,
Thanks and send it to
It's fine, we voted on, sorry,
Oh,
yeah. I'm gonna get something, I'm gonna get brick thrown at me.
Was that
for
like
procedures.
No, you're.
Yeah.
All those in favor of Liza as vice chair? Aye. Anyone opposed? Besides us?
Did we do the same for secretaries?
We have to vote for secretary too, yeah,
Okay. Oh, we voted for.
we did vote,
Okay.
we voted chair,
We did it.
yeah. Yeah, that's my bad, we're supposed to vote. And I will say technically, we were supposed to vote before the meeting started.
So all those in favor of Jennifer serving as secretary?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay,
After the meeting, last thing I have before you guys start to leave, after the minutes are done, you guys will have to approve them in the next meeting. And then they'll be filed with the city clerk, and so that's
So we
it.
need to print out. Print out, I mean, like, how do we?
I would, yeah, and you're welcome to use stuff here, you don't have to use, your own stuff. Or feel free to like send them to me or the city clerk, and we'll have them printed out, we can bring them to the meetings, or at least have them available. So.
Jenny, will you send a meeting notice out? Or should we have the city clerk do that? A meeting reminder?
The city clerk can normally do that. I would recommend going with that just because that is the one system we do have in place. So,
So you've got the email list, so you supply Riley with the email list. And just ask her to send it out for us then.
Okay.
Do we wanna have anything in place to be prepared for our next meeting?
We're gonna start with the new rules, contacting the rules.
I'll have Ed, I'll get that information from Ed, and I'll bring whatever information he's got. And knowing Ed, he probably still has files, I bet. So whatever he might have, I'll get
it'd be
him.
nice, yeah, it'd be nice to get a per count as far as the real to have where they're at. I'd give it a start.
Somebody's got the one in the living room.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Your guess was better than mine.
That was pretty cool, that was a good one
Yeah,
too.
that's
Yeah,
just a
wasn't
little stable. I've seen that photo.
It's a livery stable. Picture of a livery stable.
I don't.
Clinic.
She's very, very, should.
Husbands.
Me too.
It's good.
Oh, I am.
Oh, my God.
I didn't think about advertising tonight. Okay.
Yeah, I got bowling green.
You good?
After something, sorry, I'm so sorry, you guys are the first time, you have to, first, second, motion, and vote, can you?
I mean, motion to go.
Okay.
All first.
Oh, you mean that's the first.
Oh, I'll second.
Yeah, sorry.
All those in favor? Meeting adjourned.
I'm so sorry, you guys have to vote on that. Oh, you did the aye. Okay, I thought you said, alright, aye.
Opposed?
And then I can't get this.